Okay, so 3.1 is, in our book, it calls it Introduction to the Family of Quadratic Functions. But like I said, you guys have already worked with them before, so I'm calling it the SparkNotes version of quadratic equations. All that we're going to look at are what are the different forms of quadratic equations, and then I'm going to do one example that's like some of your homework problems. The first part of your homework is going to ask you if something is a quadratic or could be a quadratic. So what you're looking at is, can it be written the way we're going to write these things? So you know most of this already. So there are three forms of a quadratic function. And the first form we write for any family of functions is always standard form. And this is the one we started with on Wednesday. So standard form for a quadratic is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So all we're going to look at on these forms of quadratics is what they tell us. What I can know from standard form without doing any real work. So what could we tell about this quadratic or its graph or any of its attributes just by looking at the equation in standard form? Whether it's concave up or concave down. So we know that it opens up if A is what? So if A is positive, it opens up. What happens if A is negative? Opens down. What happens if A is 0? Good, it's not a quadratic function. So standard form tells us one other piece of information that's really nice when we're going to be asked to make a complete graph without a graphing calculator. What else does this tell us? What other piece of information can we gather just by looking at a quadratic in standard form? The y-intercept. So the y-intercept is 0c. Because how do you find the y-intercept of any function? Put in 0 for x. So if we put in 0 for x, both these terms would drop away. So how many parabolas do you think you could draw that have the same y-intercept and open the same direction? I bet infinitely many. Could I draw a big fat parabola, skinny parabola? It's got a vertex way high, vertex way low, right? We can do all kinds of things. So this isn't enough. So when we did completing the square the other day, we went from standard to what form? Vertex. So that's our second form, because we need all the pieces to be able to make our graphs. So vertex form is y equals a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. It doesn't like you either. Kidding, I don't know. So what letter shows up in both forms? A. It's the same A, right? We talked about that the other day when we did completing the square. We didn't start with something that had a 5 out front and we ended up down here with 2. It's the same A. So if A is positive, we know it opens up. Because we may be given vertex form instead of standard. We might not know what the standard form looks like out the gate. We know if A is negative, it opens down. And then because mathematicians are so creative, what else do we know? The vertex. Hey, this tells us the vertex. What should we call it? Maybe vertex form. So the vertex is the point HK. And we all know that parabolas are symmetric, right? You can fold them in half. Hot dog, I guess, right? Not hamburger. So we also know that the line x equals h is the axis of symmetry. I will abbreviate axis of symmetry as AOS, mostly because I get tired of writing axis of symmetry. So if we have both of these forms, now we know which way it opens. We know the y-intercept, we know the vertex and the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is nice, right? Because it's that mirror. So any point I have on the left-hand side, I know the corresponding point on the right, or vice versa. What other attribute of most graphs do we not know about yet? What piece do we not have? When you think about functions and their key attributes, what do we not know about if we only have these two forms? Well, we actually would be able to, the domain for quadratics will be all real numbers, and then we actually would know the range if we know the vertex. We'd be able to know. Well, we know the y-intercept. We don't know the x-intercepts, right, where it crosses the x-axis. So we get those from the third form. The third form is factored form. Okay. Will all quadratics factor? No. You had to use quadratic formula in the homework because they don't. So every single quadratic can be written in standard and vertex form. All of them. They won't all factor. But for the ones that do, it's super helpful. So factored form is y equals a, x minus r, and x minus s. And you guys know I hate s as a variable. I did not make the generic equation. Some dead mathematician did so that I can't smack him. But we're going to go with x minus r. And no, I was probably not even born when he died. I am kind of old. But it's R and S. We just have to roll with it. So what do we know about if we look at something in factored form? Well, who's still showing up? A. So if A is positive, we know it opens up. If A is negative, we know it opens down. But now we have the x-intercepts. So R, 0 and S, 0 are the x-intercepts. And depending on the book, or depending on the person, or depending on the day for Miss Ball, some days I call them x-intercepts, some days I call them zeros, and some days I call them roots. Those are all interchangeable terms. They do cross the x-axis there. They do make the function 0. And if you remember when you talked about polynomials, you'll talk about the roots of the function. So it is all those things. So if we're given the equation, we can tell a lot of things about it, depending on which version we have. But what if they tell me parts of the quadratic and want me to write the equation? And that's what your homework is going to be like. The beginning of the homework gives you expressions and says, are these quadratic? What that means is, can you make it look like one of these forms? Then it's got some that it wants you to factor. So hopefully the factoring skills have come back to you. And then it's got where you're writing equations. So I want to do one of those examples, and then I'll let you work on your homework. So we want to write the equation for the quadratic with x-intercepts x equals 1 and x equals 3, that has a y-intercept of 0, 6. Let's scoop that up, sorry. So we want to write the equation for the quadratic with x-intercepts x equals 1, x equals 3. That has a y-intercept of 0, 6. So what did they tell us about? That it's a quadratic, and they told us the x-intercepts. So which form should we pick? Factored, right? We shouldn't pick vertex form unless we know the vertex. So we know the x-intercepts are 1 and 3. Do we know anything about A? No. Does it matter? Can I just make it 1? No, it matters a whole bunch. If A is 1, is that different than if A is -7? Yeah. So we can't just assume. You know what happens when you assume. So you write the A as a placeholder, and then our factors will be x minus 1 and x minus 3. So we need to know what A is. This is not the final answer. It is the first letter of the alphabet. Very well done. If it was C, you could say C is for cookie, and that's good enough for me. But it's A. Okay.
We don't know what happens when you assume stuff.
Oh, pish posh, you do too. I've told you that story. Surely. I had a student that said, people die. And I was like, no, people don't die. I'm like, how do you not know that story? When we're done, maybe. Okay, how do we find A? I want to know what it is. Well, have I used everything they gave me in the problem? No. They told me the y-intercept. Well, they gave me the y-intercept, but could it have been any point? Could they have told me it goes through the point 125? Would that have been helpful? Well, if I plug in 0 for x, I can, because it's the x coordinate. Okay, any point on your function. So, guys, make sure you're listening. Any point on the function means when x is this value, y is that value. So this is nice that it's the y-intercept, but it could be any point. So when x is 0, y is 6. Does that let us find A? Yes. 6 equals A. 0 minus 1 is -1, and 0 minus 3 is -3. So what does that make A? It does make A 2, because 3A is 6, and A is 2. So that means our equation looks like this. Y equals 2 times x minus 1 times x minus 3. So I didn't write this in the directions of the problem, but most of the time our book will ask you to write it in standard form. Is that in standard form? No, that's in factored form. How do we put it in standard form? We just multiply everybody out. So I'm pretty sure you're decent at double distribution, hopefully. X squared minus 3 minus 1 minus 4x plus 3. Hey, there's the 6. When you don't draw your box through the problem. There we go. Okay. Works out nicely once I put it in standard form. My A is definitely 2, and you can see that my y-intercept of 6 shows up, which is nice. So in the homework, they give, oh my gosh. In the homework, sometimes they give you the information in words, sometimes it's a table, sometimes it's a graph, but it's still the same thing. And ask you to write the equation. Figure out, do I start in vertex, do I start in factored, and go with it. And it's not that overwhelming. Like I said, you guys get 40 minutes to work, which my class this morning most definitely did not.